when you start the season for 3 weeks and don't hit a lick, have one of the worst offenses in baseball, even though the team's been winning, you know you can't live like that. And the Rangers knew it. After 3 weeks, it was time. Something had to be done about this offense. So the Rangers went to that place where, well, actually, the team that plays in West Sacramento will soon play in Las Vegas. So Bruce Bochy shuffled the deck a little bit.
Hey, I see what you did there.
He shuffled the deck and came up with 4 aces, I guess, in the first game. It all worked out just well for him.
The 4 aces being 4 home runs and a season high 8 runs. You know, they were the last team in baseball to that hadn't scored 7 runs in a game, let alone 6. So, you know, it was a jolt, a wake-up call to guys. I don't know what you want to call it, but it worked, and you're going to see it again. And I think that it will take some time before, if you want to say order is restored, until Marcus Semien is back in the leadoff spot. Now, if Josh Smith needs a day off, then I would imagine that Marcus would be the guy. But he did pretty well in that 5-hole. You know, a couple of hits, a lot of RBIs, a home run in there. I think that you got to ride this one out. You got to let it go. The problem, of course, is the Corey Seager hamstring situation. So that kind of juggles things, mixes things up, and you know, leaves you searching for to fill a pretty big hole in the lineup. And they'll figure out a way to do it. You know, the point that Jared Sandler made last night after the game and the postgame show is, you know, in baseball, you know, when you lose your best player, you're going to have somebody to fill in who's capable. It's not like losing an NFL team, losing a starting quarterback.
Right.
You know, it's not quite that bad. It's not great, especially with as good as Corey was hitting. He was batting .370 in his previous 12 games. Was hitting for power, had an OPS above 1,000. It's the Corey Seager you expect to see. And now that he's infirmed, you're not just going to replace that. There's not a free agent out there, somebody in the minor leagues. You're just going to be like, hey, come on up and just all you have to do is take Corey Seager's spot. Just be the best hitter, one of the best hitters in baseball. So it's not going to happen, but and maybe that will galvanize the lineup. Maybe that will spark something, or you know, they always say, well, you don't need to do any more than you're capable of doing, but sometimes it just happens. So it'll be interesting to see how everything gets mixed and matched. But to your point, after 3 weeks, the status quo was not working, and the Rangers needed to score runs. They've been getting phenomenal pitching, the best pitching in the league, in baseball, you can argue. And you can't waste that. You know, there's an opportunity here for the Rangers to take off. If this offense gets going and the pitching holds serve, the Rangers could open up a pretty big darn lead here in the West. But they couldn't let it. They couldn't wait anymore. They needed to do something to spark something.
No, Bruce Bochy had said before the game, just after he posted the lineup the first day, that was so drastically different without Semien in the leadoff spot. He said, you know, if we keep doing what we've been doing, we'll keep getting the results that we've been getting. And that's sort of the old, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? So there was no more expectation of different results. There was a change made, and the change works, and we'll see for how long, and we'll see how long it lasts. Marcus Semien isn't necessarily a prototypical leadoff hitter, nor was he ever really one before here. So that he doesn't necessarily have to go back into that spot. If the offense is working, then Bruce Bochy will allow it to work. I mean, we've always said what he does is he stays with what's hot or who's hot, right? If there's Josh Smith, earlier, mostly on the last homestand, but when Dustin Harris was in the lineup and he was getting hits every day, you don't take him out. You find a way to play him, and that's what Boch will do. That's what old school managers will do too. It's like, it ain't broke. I ain't gonna fix it, you know.
Yeah, and he always says funny things like, I a guy hits 2 home runs, the next day he'll be like, oh, he hit 2 home runs, so he's automatically back in the lineup. You hit a grand slam, you play the next day, things like that. But there's a lot of truth to it too, and you saw Dustin Harris basically replace Leody Taveras on Sunday because he had been hitting the ball so well. Leody's the better defensive player. So I think that you could see a scenario for Leody where he plays as a defensive substitution. And some guys, you still need days off, and he's not a bad player. He's just not. He's a frustrating player because he's never realized his potential. There's been spurts of it, and like May of 23, and really 23 was just such a great season for him. Him at the bottom of the order made the lineup work, and he had done that at times early this season. It just wasn't happening enough. And when you get a guy, when you're not scoring runs, and you get a guy who's helping you score runs, and you have other guys who are going to be in the lineup because of how much money they make, and you got to get them going, well, you may lose your spot. And that's what's happened to Leody, because Marcus Semien is going to play every day. Jock Peterson is going to play against right-handed pitchers. They got to get him going, and you don't get going by sitting your butt on the bench.
Nope.
So Jake Berger is going to keep playing. So it was great to see him hit a home run Tuesday night. These guys are going to play. So it's not like there's a ton the Rangers can do personnel-wise other than maybe Leody. And now with Corey, you're going to see some guys get some other chances. But it's manipulating the lineup and maybe taking some pressure off guys. Maybe Marcus Semien felt great hitting fifth and not having to worry about the fact that he wasn't getting on base. I mean, you saw the comments, John, and mentioned him where he's like, I don't have any say in this matter because I have terrible numbers. And he's right. So now he can change that. And maybe him batting fifth is going to be the spark he needs.
Sure. And the other thing that Marcus said, and I found this telling and interesting, is that, there were a few games during this stretch when he was not hitting the ball well. There were a few games where I went, man, that game was so close to being so different, right?
Right.
A ball that didn't fall. His batting average on balls in play was like 156. Well, in some ways, that's just bad luck, right?
Yeah.
The player is the fielder is where you've hit it. And I wonder, after he said that and admitted, there were games I came in and I went, man, that could have been so different. That's got to be what Peterson is feeling some when we see him lately at least start to square a few balls up and things like that.
Yeah, there are people who believe in expected batting average and don't believe in expected batting average, and luck comes into play. That's where you hear everybody talk about, well, he's so unlucky. Look at his expected batting average. Well, you make your own luck a lot of times.
Sure.
But, if the Rangers are fundamentally doing the right things, like hitting the ball hard, that means that good things are happening at the plate. And it looked like even in the Dodgers series and against the Angels, the Rangers were hitting more balls hard, I thought. There were a lot of, outs of balls hit more than 100 miles per hour. And so that's an indication that they're doing the right things. Now, with Peterson, he hasn't done that. He did line out Tuesday night. So, maybe that's a good sign. Bruce Bochy said it's more of a timing issue with him. So maybe that was the pitch. I don't know. They didn't let him bat the next time because a left-hander was pitching. So we'll see what happens with him. But you are going to see Jock Peterson. He's not going to get benched. No,
he absolutely won't. And the record for the Rangers slump futility, I suppose, was a guy we remember, Chris Davis, who had an 0 for 59.
Oh my gosh!
And so we'll keep hoping that Jock does not get to that stage, not to that point. He's sneaking up, but I don't think he's going to get there.
Oof, poor Chris.
Yeah,
such a good guy. I love Chris Davis.
Good dude. Yeah, and so again, and obviously it was after that 0 for 59, by the way, that he made hundreds of millions of dollars, most of them from the Orioles, hitting bomb after bomb after bomb there. So there is hope after a slump like that, and certainly there's hope for Jock Peterson.
100%. And I talked to him on, I believe it was Friday, about what he's going through. And I told him, in 2016, the Rangers signed Ian Desmond late in spring training. He came in here, and after about the same point you're at, Jock, he was batting .046. And he ended up hitting .320 and being an all-star. And Jock went, I like to hear that. So,
yeah.
He knows he hasn't been good enough, and he wants to get better. He said nobody's more frustrated than he is. So, again, he's going to play. It's just a matter of where he's going to bat.
Yep. And again, I think moving him down in the batting order was good. I was surprised that Marcus Semien being moved into the 5-hole earlier in the week. It was only the third time he'd played, batted in that position in a batting order in his career. I remember one of the predictions I made at spring training, thinking that Evan Carter was going to be healthy, was that Marcus Semien would leave spring training as the 5-hole hitter. I think that's a good spot for him.
Well, if guys are on base, Marcus does hit a lot of fly balls.
Yep.
And he's a professional hitter. He knows how to hit a fly ball when one's needed. And one was needed in the first inning Tuesday night, and he delivered a sacrifice fly. He had a sacrifice fly in the Dodgers series. He gets it. And if you're going to have, the theory would be multiple guys on base with Smith, Langford, Seager, Adolis maybe there too. The theory would be, he's going to have guys on base and a chance to do some damage. Sometimes the damage is a sacrifice fly.
Sure. 100%.
At this point with the Rangers, any run is damage.
No doubt about it. You get high fives when you go back into the dugout after a sac fly, and even a productive out sometimes. So we're hoping for more than productive outs and more than sac flies. But like Jeff said, runs are runs and wins are wins. And no matter what, the Rangers continue to win. Thank you, pitching. Thank you, defense. And really, thank you to everyone from Chris Young on down in baseball operations, from getting the right people, Jeff, but also then putting them in the right places.
Yeah, and then it's a team effort. It's collaborative. It's not just Bruce Bochy and they're, drawing things up. He gets input from all guys and welcomes it. And it looks like they got something here.
It does. Should be a fun year. We will be here talking all things Texas Rangers on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.